Wisdom seekers, let me ask you something. Have you ever felt the storm of emotions rising within you, pulling you toward decisions you regret? Anger that drives you to say words you can't take back? Fear that keeps you from seizing the opportunities you deserve? Or even fleeting moments of excitement that lead to actions you later wish you hadn't taken? This inner tug-of-war between reason and emotion is as old as human nature itself. It's something the great Stoic philosophers have grappled with for centuries. But here's the secret they discovered. Emotions are powerful, but they are also transient, fickle, and often misleading. To act with reason, not emotion, is to cultivate true strength, the kind of strength that allows a man to navigate through life with clarity, purpose, and mastery over himself. Today, we're diving deep into 10 transformative habits that will help you live with reason as your guide, not emotion. These habits will equip you to stay grounded, make sound decisions, and become the architect of your own life. Throughout this journey, we'll draw from the wisdom of Stoicism, a philosophy that has stood the test of time in teaching us how to rise above our emotional reactions. But remember, wisdom seekers, this journey isn't about suppressing your emotions. It's about mastering them. It's about understanding them and using them as tools, rather than letting them use you. Every moment of our lives, we face choices: to act impulsively, led by emotions, or to respond thoughtfully, guided by reason. The more we practice these habits, the more we develop our inner strength to act with intention, rather than being swayed by passing feelings. So, let's begin this journey and dive deep into the 10 habits that will transform your approach to life. Habit 1. Cultivating emotional awareness. Before we can act with reason, we must first become aware of our emotions. Many people move through life reacting to their emotions without ever stopping to recognize what they are feeling or why. This lack of awareness allows emotions to control their actions, rather than the other way around. The first step to mastering your emotions is to bring them into the light of consciousness. This is what the Stoics called prosoche, the discipline of attention. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminds us that we are often complicit in our emotional suffering, not because the events around us are unbearable, but because we fail to observe our own emotional responses. Start by practicing mindfulness. Throughout your day, pause and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now? Why am I feeling this? By making a habit of identifying your emotions, you begin to distance yourself from them. You realize that your emotions are not you. They are simply passing states, like clouds moving across the sky. You can observe them without being swept away by them. Once you're able to notice the shifts in your emotions, you create a gap between stimulus and response. In that gap, you have a choice: to act impulsively or to respond with reason. This habit, though simple in concept, is difficult in practice. It requires dedication to constant self-reflection and a commitment to staying mindful throughout the ups and downs of daily life. Emotional awareness is a crucial first step, because without it, you are essentially acting blindly, letting your emotions dictate your behavior. However, when you become conscious of your feelings, you begin to see the patterns. You recognize how anger rises, how sadness lingers, and how joy fades. With this awareness, you're no longer a victim of emotional tides, but an observer. Someone who can choose how to navigate through life's emotional storms. Habit 2. Practicing emotional detachment. Wisdom seekers, the next step in mastering your emotions is to learn the art of emotional detachment. This doesn't mean becoming cold or unfeeling. It means developing the ability to step back from your emotions and observe them without being overwhelmed by them. The Stoic philosophers believed that while we cannot always control what happens to us, we can control how we respond. Epictetus, in his teachings, often reminded us that it's not events themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about those events. In other words, it's how we interpret our emotions that often causes our suffering, not the emotions themselves. Practicing emotional detachment allows us to break free from the tyranny of emotional reactions. It teaches us to observe our emotions as if we were watching a play unfold. The characters' our emotions may be dramatic, intense, and compelling, but we don't need to get swept up in the narrative. We can watch from a distance, understanding the storyline, but not losing ourselves in it. Imagine yourself as a mountain, strong and immovable, while emotions pass like weather, sometimes stormy, sometimes clear, but always changing. The mountain does not change because of the storm. It remains steadfast. In the same way, emotional detachment allows you to stay grounded while emotions swirl around you. To cultivate this habit, start small. The next time you feel a surge of anger or frustration, take a step back. Instead of reacting immediately, observe the emotion. Ask yourself, what is this emotion trying to tell me? Is my reaction in this moment necessary, or can I wait? By practicing this detachment regularly, you'll find that your emotional responses become less intense, and your ability to act with reason grows stronger. Detachment doesn't mean denying your emotions or pretending they don't exist. Instead, it means understanding that you are separate from them. You are the observer, not the emotion itself. Over time, you'll notice that this practice leads to a calm and clarity that allows you to face even the most challenging situations with poise and reason. Habit 3. Embracing delayed reactions. One of the greatest mistakes we make when acting out of emotion is reacting too quickly. The heat of the moment can cloud our judgment, leading to decisions we later regret. The Stoics were well aware of this pitfall, and they encouraged the practice of pausing before taking action. In today's fast-paced world, where we are encouraged to react immediately, whether it's replying to a text, making a decision, or responding to someone's criticism, this habit is more important than ever. The ability to delay your reaction, even for just a few seconds, can make all the difference between a reasonable decision and an impulsive one. Seneca, one of the most famous Stoic philosophers, said, "A moment's delay in a crisis often improves the outcome." By practicing this habit, you allow your emotions to settle, giving your rational mind the time it needs to assess the situation more clearly. This is the essence of acting with reason rather than emotion. Next time you feel the urge to react impulsively, take a deep breath and count to 10. This simple act of pausing gives you a moment to recalibrate. In that pause, you can ask yourself, is this the right action to take? Am I reacting out of emotion or reason? More often than not, you'll find that the initial emotional surge fades and a more thoughtful approach emerges. The beauty of this habit is that it's universally applicable. Whether you're dealing with an argument, a stressful situation, or a life-changing decision, pausing allows you to take control. You shift from reacting to responding, from being driven by emotions to being guided by reason. This moment of pause is where clarity lives. It's where your ability to make wise, thoughtful decisions is born. Over time, this habit becomes second nature. You'll find yourself no longer rushing into decisions or acting out of anger, fear, or excitement. Instead, you'll approach life's challenges with patience and deliberation, confident that your actions are aligned with your reason, not dictated by fleeting emotions. Habit 4. Seeking objectivity in emotional situations. One of the most powerful ways to act with reason rather than emotion is to cultivate the ability to see things objectively, even in the midst of emotional turmoil. When we're caught up in strong emotions, our perspective narrows. We see things only through the lens of that emotion. Anger makes us feel like everything is wrong, sadness convinces us that things will never improve, and fear blinds us to opportunities. The Stoics understood that our emotions often distort our view of reality. Epictetus taught that we should strive to see events as they truly are, not as our emotions would have us believe. He said, "When something happens, the only thing in your power is your attitude toward it." In other words, events are neutral. It's our emotional interpretations that give them meaning. To cultivate this habit, practice stepping outside of your emotional perspective and looking at the situation as an impartial observer. Ask yourself, if I were giving advice to a friend in this situation, what would I say? This simple shift in perspective can help you distance yourself from your emotions and see things more clearly. Another technique is to remind yourself of the bigger picture. Often, when we're in the grip of strong emotions, we become fixated on the immediate problem. But most of the time, the things we're upset about won't matter in a week, a month, or a year. By zooming out and considering the broader context, you can put your emotions into perspective and act with greater reason. Objectivity requires practice, especially in emotionally charged situations. But over time, you'll find that it becomes easier to step back from your emotions and see things as they truly are. When you can do this, you're no longer a slave to your emotions. Instead, you become the master of your own actions, able to navigate life's challenges with a calm, rational mind. Habit 5. Training your mind through daily reflection. Wisdom seekers, true mastery of your emotions doesn't come from a single moment of clarity. It's the result of continuous training. Just as an athlete trains their body every day to become stronger, you must train your mind daily to act with reason. The Stoics practiced this through the habit of daily reflection. At the end of each day, they would sit down and review their actions, asking themselves, where did I let emotions control me today? Where did I act with reason? This simple practice of reflection allows you to assess your progress and make adjustments. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, often wrote about his own struggles with emotions and how he sought to align his actions with reason. He wasn't perfect. None of us are. But through daily reflection, he was able to continuously improve. By reviewing his thoughts and actions each day, he could identify patterns, recognize emotional triggers, and develop strategies to act with greater reason in the future. Start by setting aside a few minutes each evening to reflect on your day. You don't need to write a detailed journal, although you can if that helps you. But simply take time to think about where you allowed emotions to control you and where you acted with reason. Ask yourself, how could I have handled that situation better? What can I learn from today? The more you practice this habit, the more self-aware you become. You start to notice patterns in your behavior. Times when you're more prone to emotional reactions, situations that consistently trigger strong feelings. Armed with this awareness, you can begin to anticipate these moments and prepare yourself to act with reason, even in the heat of the moment. Daily reflection is like sharpening a blade. Each night, you hone your mind, making it sharper, more focused, and better equipped to cut through emotional noise. Over time, you'll find that this habit builds not only your ability to act with reason, but also your overall mental clarity and resilience. Habit 6. Surrounding yourself with rational influences. Who we spend our time with has a profound impact on how we think, feel, and act. If you're surrounded by people who are constantly acting on emotion, reacting impulsively, complaining about their circumstances, or being driven by fear and anger, it's easy to fall into those same patterns. On the other hand, when you surround yourself with people who value reason, who take a thoughtful approach to life, and who practice emotional mastery, their mindset starts to influence your own. This is why the Stoics place such importance on choosing one's companions wisely. Seneca advised that we should associate with people who are likely to improve us. The company you keep can either elevate you or pull you down. If you want to act with reason rather than emotion, seek out individuals who embody this quality. Find mentors, friends, and colleagues who are calm, thoughtful, and deliberate in their actions. This habit isn't just about avoiding negative influences. It's about actively seeking out rational, wise people who can help you grow. Look for those who challenge you to think more deeply, who encourage you to pause before reacting, and who model the kind of emotional control you want to cultivate in yourself. In addition to the people around you, consider the media you consume. Are you filling your mind with emotionally charged news, social media outrage, or drama-filled entertainment? Or are you reading books, watching videos, and engaging with content that promotes rational thinking and emotional mastery? As you begin to curate your environment, both the people you spend time with and the information you take in, you'll find that your ability to act with reason improves naturally. You become less reactive, more thoughtful, and more in control of your emotions. The old saying, "You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with," holds true. So choose wisely. Habit 7. Reframing setbacks as opportunities for growth. Emotions often arise most powerfully when we encounter setbacks, failures, or challenges. These moments can stir up feelings of frustration, disappointment, or even anger. But what if you could train your mind to see setbacks not as problems, but as opportunities for growth? The Stoics were masters of this mindset. They believed that every obstacle presents a chance to practice virtue. As Marcus Aurelius famously said, The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In other words, the challenges you face are not roadblocks, they are the path to your growth. To act with reason, rather than emotion, you must cultivate the habit of reframing setbacks. Instead of reacting emotionally, complaining, feeling defeated, or giving up, train your mind to see the opportunity within the challenge. Ask yourself, what can I learn from this situation? How can I grow stronger because of it? This shift in perspective transforms how you approach difficulties. Instead of being overwhelmed by emotions when things don't go your way, you approach setbacks with curiosity and resilience. You start to see challenges not as something to be feared or avoided, but as a chance to develop your character. Reframing setbacks takes practice. It's not easy to maintain a rational mindset in the face of adversity. But with time, you'll find that this habit becomes second nature. You'll begin to welcome challenges as opportunities to strengthen your emotional mastery, rather than reacting impulsively and letting emotions take over. This habit not only helps you act with reason in difficult situations, but it also builds your overall resilience. When you see setbacks as part of the journey, you become less likely to be thrown off course by life's inevitable ups and downs. Instead, you remain grounded, calm, and focused, able to navigate through challenges with wisdom and strength. Habit 8. Focusing on what you can control. One of the core principles of Stoic philosophy is the distinction between what is within our control and what is outside of our control. The Stoics believed that the key to a peaceful and rational life was to focus only on what we can control, our own thoughts, actions, and responses, while letting go of concern for everything outside of our control. Epictetus famously said, "Some things are up to us and some things are not." Understanding this distinction is essential for acting with reason rather than emotion. When we focus on things we cannot control, other people's opinions, external events, or outcomes, we become anxious, frustrated, and emotionally reactive. But when we focus on what we can control, our own behavior, mindset, and decisions, we act with clarity and reason. To cultivate this habit, start by identifying the aspects of your life that are within your control. These include your actions, your attitude, and your effort. Whenever you find yourself becoming emotional about something, pause and ask yourself, is this within my control? If the answer is no, practice letting it go. If the answer is yes, focus your energy on taking rational action. This habit is liberating. It frees you from the emotional turmoil that comes from trying to control the uncontrollable. You stop worrying about what others think, stop being frustrated by external circumstances, and instead focus on what you can actually change: yourself. Over time, this habit builds a deep sense of inner peace and confidence. You no longer waste energy on things outside your control, and you become more effective in managing your own actions and emotions. Acting with reason becomes easier because you're no longer distracted by things you cannot influence. Instead, you focus on what truly matters, your own growth and choices. Habit 9. Building mental fortitude through discomfort. Wisdom seekers, comfort is often the enemy of growth. When we avoid discomfort, we allow our emotions to dictate our actions. We choose the easy path, the one that feels good in the moment, but often leads to long-term dissatisfaction. To act with reason rather than emotion, you must develop the habit of embracing discomfort as a tool for building mental fortitude. The Stoics believed that hardship was essential for developing virtue. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body." In other words, by facing challenges head-on and embracing discomfort, you build the strength to act with reason, even in difficult situations. Start by deliberately putting yourself in situations that are uncomfortable, but not overwhelming. This could be something as simple as taking a cold shower, exercising in the morning, or having a difficult conversation you've been avoiding. These small acts of discomfort train your mind to withstand emotional impulses and stay focused on reason. As you build this habit, you'll find that your tolerance for discomfort increases. You become less likely to avoid difficult situations out of fear or emotional resistance. Instead, you approach challenges with a rational mindset, knowing that discomfort is temporary, but the benefits of facing it are long-lasting. Mental fortitude is like a muscle. The more you train it, the stronger it becomes. By embracing discomfort and pushing yourself beyond your emotional comfort zone, you develop the ability to act with reason, even in the face of fear, stress, or uncertainty. This habit not only helps you make better decisions, but it also builds your overall resilience and strength of character. Habit 10. Living with purpose and intention. Finally, wisdom seekers, to truly act with reason rather than emotion, you must live with purpose and intention. When you have a clear sense of your values, your goals, and your purpose, it becomes much easier to act rationally, even in emotionally charged situations. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the importance of aligning his actions with his purpose. He believed that every day was an opportunity to live in accordance with his values, and that acting with reason was essential for staying true to that purpose. To cultivate this habit, start by clarifying your own values and goals. What kind of person do you want to be? What principles guide your life? When you have a clear sense of purpose, you're less likely to be swayed by fleeting emotions or external pressures. You make decisions based on your long-term goals, rather than short-term emotional impulses. Living with intention also means being deliberate in your daily actions. Every choice you make, from how you spend your time to how you interact with others, should be guided by your reason and aligned with your purpose. This habit helps you stay focused on what truly matters, rather than getting caught up in the emotional distractions of daily life. Over time, living with purpose and intention becomes a guiding force in your life. You act with reason because you have a clear sense of where you're going and why. Emotions may still arise, but they no longer have the power to derail you. You are anchored in your purpose, and your actions reflect that inner clarity and strength. Conclusion: mastering the balance between reason and emotion. Wisdom seekers, mastering the art of acting with reason rather than emotion is not an easy journey. It requires daily practice, self-awareness, and a commitment to growth. But as the Stoics taught us, this path leads to true strength, inner peace, and a life of purpose. By cultivating these 10 habits, emotional awareness, detachment, delayed reactions, objectivity, daily reflection, rational influences, reframing setbacks, focusing on what you can control, building mental fortitude, and living with purpose, you can transform the way you approach life. You become the master of your emotions, rather than their servant. Remember, emotions are not the enemy. They are a natural part of being human. But when we allow them to control our actions, we lose sight of reason and make choices that often lead to regret. The goal is not to suppress your emotions, but to understand them, observe them, and use them as a guide for deeper wisdom. So, wisdom seekers, as you go through your day, remember the teachings of the Stoics. Act with reason, not emotion. Let your actions be guided by your values, your purpose, and your rational mind. This is the path to true strength, wisdom, and personal mastery. Thank you for joining me on this journey. Stay strong, stay mindful, and continue seeking wisdom.